Hello, everyone. Good evening. Again, it's another Sunday, and we would like to welcome all of you that are joining and those that will join across the globe for tonight's interaction and conversation. My name is Chichi, and this is Uche. And on today's live, we'll be telling a short story from where we will be anchoring, that will anchor tonight's conversation. So, John and Jane are married, and they have had a project that they have set aside to carry on in the coming year. So they have been putting money aside for this project. Everything seemed okay, or so did one of them think that everything was going okay. So they have decided that John is going to be the custodian of this account and manage the funds that they will use for this important project for them as a family. And over the years, they keep looking for the things for the project. In this case, it is a mortgage that they were going to get to buy a house. So they've been viewing properties and looking to get into the property ladder. Remember, they have saved up, but one of them is managing it. And then suddenly they found a property to buy. They have gone viewing, everything seemed okay and ticked the boxes. And it was time to make payment. And that was when Jane realized that the fund is not as they have agreed, that John had been making some purchases, small purchases from that account. And these are things that have to do with the family, the children. It's not as if he was using this fund for his personal use or for others. It's still within the household. But John did not tell Jane that some of the purchases he had been making is from this account that has been set aside for their property. And it was on that day that Jane got the shock of her life, that they are not able to close, they can't buy the property because the money is not complete for them to make payments. Now, I am going to stop the story here. I'm sure that you will be imagining how furious Jane will be or how cool she will be. You will be imagining what happened after. I'm not going to bore you with the story of what happened after, but I'm going to stop the story here, and then we will draw some lessons and also talk about what just happened. I mean, the story that I just told. And today we'll be talking about personal finance management in a relationship. So for those who are in a relationship, how do they manage their personal finances? How do they manage their funds as a family? And what are the things that they have to put in place for this to be properly managed in a way that what I told in this story will not be the case? So join us from wherever you are, get your friends, your family, come around and let's have the conversation. Please do use the comment section to put in your comments, your opinions, and your thoughts. We would really, really appreciate that. And also, we would like you to ask questions or whatever it is that you would like us to talk about or answer, and we would respond to that. And let's see the road. So this is the story. What do you think happened? What are the things that we'll be looking at that caused this scenario, and what could have been done better?
Did you say let's hit the road? Which road? M40 or
the road of the conversation?
Oh,
Come on.
I thought you said let's hit road because there's no road there. I don't know which road I'm hitting. Okay.
Meanwhile, right. I'm going to just share so that everybody will know that we are already live and having this conversation. So please do share with friends and family, those on your contact, so that people will get to know we are live and join the conversation. It's going to be interesting.
Let's hit the road.
Okay.
The road to this conversation is simply that somebody likes money and decide to use money for family reasons, and a reason other than what it was, or other than what it was intentionally meant for. So in that case, he decided to use the money against what they had agreed to use the money. My hitting the road for me would be, well, money is meant to be used, and it was used. So what's your concern? What's your problem?
Okay.
He used money, yes. The money was received so that it will be spent.
Okay.
Why are you worried about that?
Okay. So what exactly are you saying? Are you saying that what John did is okay, and from the story that he did okay to dip hand into that particular purse to make other purchases other than the project?
Oh, yes, because it was money meant to be used, and he used it to solve a problem that is within their family. So I would think, well, he did the right thing by using the money. Only one area is where I would have my reservation for, but I think he used money for their family. And
so tell us the area, if you have a reservation, like an exception. So okay, let's hear it.
The area I have a reservation exception is if he did not disclose to the partner that this thing, I need this money, there is something we need to. Maybe this guy went outside to get something. Remember that the children don't have pampers again. And as at the time when he was there, he couldn't even call the wife to say, do you know, we should run short of money, but since these kids don't have pampers and their other toiletries are no more, they'll be going to school the next day. They need some school uniform. So why will we keep this money there when they don't have school uniform? So, and pampers. So let me buy pampers from them. Probably it is still part of the house need. My only reservation would be he should have discussed with the wife before using the money.
Okay, so is there anything in your mind you think that could have made John to use that particular fund that shouldn't be touched, that has been agreed that it will not be touched? Do you think there is anything, maybe a circumstance or oversight or whatever? Is there any justification for using it aside the fact that the children need something, the household needs something? Other than that, I mean, he could have used other money. Why that particular one?
Well, unless from the story you told us now, we are not told whether they have other money. Probably that is the only money they have. And that only money is the money that is available. Unfortunately, the money is meant to be used for something else, has been planned for something else. And at that time, I would say, like my first reason is, it's used for the family. It's for the family. Another reason I could think, this is now on the counter side of what I'm saying, not trying to conduct it myself, would be because he's John. And being John, I believe that he's a man, right? And most men, especially if he is from the African or Asian descent, most men believe that they have the final say in the house. So for that, he may think, what's the point? They can ask the wife. That's no need. That's wrong. Don't do that. I'm not suggesting you should do that. But what I'm saying is, he may think, do you know what? I'm the head of this house. I take decision. I will use that money. Probably he had plan of replacing it, but maybe couldn't meet up. But the father, he believed, is the man. You know what? I'll use it. And he asks, I'll tell him that I've used it. Or he can't question me.
Okay, so if it had been Jane that used the money, that dipped hand, let's not use the word use, that dipped hand into that special purse to make the expenses of the house, would that be different? Because you're talking about the headship and, lordship thing? What if it was Jane? Because it could have been anybody that had done that. It doesn't have to be the man. It could be the woman in some households. So would that, give you some thoughts in answering my question?
Yeah, I would still say the same thing, because at the end of the day, the money was set aside for a particular purpose. No doubt, it shouldn't be used for something else. I get that straight away. But if it is going to be used, a discussion will be had. Because discussion was not had, that makes it bad for me. Right? But answering your question, if it is Jane that use it, will it still be the same, carry the same punishment? Will I still view the same way? I will still say yes.
Okay.
Regardless of who used it.
Okay. So let's begin to think of some things that could have caused this scenario, because there are a lot of things that we can draw from this story that, by the way, these are real and true stories, and they do happen around us every day. It's not something new or something very peculiar to just one family. These are, constant occurrences in many households. So now let's think of, maybe in terms of personal finance management, maybe we'll start from there. What are the things that will mean that a family or a couple are managing their finances well? And then we'll come to your point, which is the bigger part of this conversation, communication. Because if there had been communication, things would have been different, or maybe we will not get to have to hear the story, or it will not have to go to a coach or a counselor. Maybe they would have resolved it within their household. So we start talking about personal finance. I will just run through a few things that you have to keep in mind if you are a couple and you are managing your finances, or you want to manage your finances well, so that you can have a very good relationship. Remember that we do say that one do affect the other. Relationships affect finances, or how free or independent or wealthy that you will become. And or the other way around, finances do also affect relationships. And that's why we deal with relationships, family finances, and how they are managed. So first of all, first thing first that you have to do, assuming you are coming from ground zero and now wanting to manage your finances as someone in a relationship, the first things will be for you as an individual to go away and learn about money. Sometimes lack of financial education can cause this scenario, and you may be wondering how. If someone doesn't understand money, does not know what money is, doesn't view money the way it should be viewed, definitely it is going to affect their habits, their attitude, their relationship with money also. And that's exactly how they will be dealing with money personally and in that relationship. So financial literacy is very important. Whatever you do and you are aiming to become financially independent or start building wealth, start with learning about finances and get the intelligence around finances, get the mindset around finances and the psychology of money. Just get these things in place as foundation before we get to the next point. So,
sorry, because if I don't talk it straight, I forgot what I want to say. Did you say learn about money?
Yes.
How do we money? We all why am I going to learn about money? Money is money. What is in it that I need to learn? I used it. I work. My employer pay me. I withdraw the money from bank. use it to go and buy things I need. What do I need to learn about money? What
And
is it?
okay, with this that you have said now, how far have you gone with money? Although recently you started knowing a bit about money and making changes, but before, how far did you go?
Why will I learn about money?
I just asked you, when you didn't know much about money, how far did you go with money?
I'm going higher, yes, higher. That's why I go.
Okay.
Going higher every day.
Okay, let me answer your question. So, the reason you have to learn about money is because to some of us, money is not what we have in our minds that it is. So, if you don't know that money is just a tool, and it can be a good tool and a bad tool, depending on the person that is handling the money. If you don't know that, if you think that money is more than it is, that, or you place so much regard or importance to it that it becomes a god to you, or you yield towards the god of mammon, and what it means is that you might be doing a lot of things that will become destructive to you because you don't know that money is just a tool. And also, if you don't understand the intelligence around it and then deal with the mindset, the things that you are coming around into a relationship or from your family or environment that you grew up in, if you don't checkmate it and find out which ones are correct, which ones are not right, and begin to make changes, that also is going to affect you. If also you don't deal with your emotions and understand the psychology of money, it also is going to affect how you deal with money. And when someone else is now involved, it's no longer your life alone, that you can just assimilate your mistakes and take your praises and your blames, then it's going to be more difficult because it will be affecting another individual. And if it is adversely, then it's going to affect the relationship. So it's important that we learn about money and sort the mindset that we have about money, check that it is the right one. If it's not, that you change it. And again, learn the psychology about money so that you can understand your emotions around it and be able to be in control of it. So that's the reason you have to know about money.
The same mindset.
Yes.
About money.
Yes.
So I thought mindset is about some things that are just you can't understand. So I want to tell what do you mean by mindset of money? Do you need mindset of money?
So it's just how you think and reason and what your mind comprehends about a particular thing and how it plays out.
Okay.
That's what it is. So if you, just like I explained, if you know that money is a tool, then you will have to work on your mindset to know that this is its use and this is not its use.
I get it.
For instance, that money is not a tool of operation to oppress other people. Maybe if you know that, you may not be pursuing it the way you do. And money is not as important as some things like we did last month, I think in October,
yeah,
that there are other forms of wealth that are more than the financial wealth. Yes. So that way, in your mind, you will understand that if you are pursuing financial wealth, you are pursuing comfort and the resources that will give you that. If you're pursuing those purposes you have to achieve, and you need resources, one of which is finances, that the way you pursue it should not be at the detriment of the relationships you have, your health, your relationship with God, and all the rest of that. So that's what mindset does.
I get it.
That's in your head, this is what it is. And the other things we talked about that you have to learn. So let's just run to the next one.
We are running. It's 19 minutes. Do you want us to fly?
So when we have understood about, because we are going to go into this story, but I want to lay a background to what, because I'm not going to tell you what I know about this couple or everything. I won't be sharing much, but I will want us to, our imaginations to stir up so that we will begin to think of what could have gone wrong, what happened, and how could it have been done better, and the resultant effects it could have been. So the second thing that you have to do is that you have to make sure that you make more money. Depending on your resources, that you increase it. So we are not going to go deep into how to make more money right now, but I'm going to talk more about savings and how you can save. So as you make more money, increase your savings. If you had been saving 10%, then maybe you should increase it to 15. And on that note, let me just touch a little bit on our story, because I am going to put myself in your shoes as the viewers and listeners. All of us will be imagining what could have gone wrong. It could be that the only money they have saved or put aside is just the money for that project. And that will be why the only place to dip hand into to solve other problems is that place, aside the problem of no communication. So, which we will come back to later. So, if you are saving, you have to separate your savings. So, this is a project. They could have had an emergency fund. If they had the emergency fund, I'm sure that John could have dipped hand there to go and get those household items, or for the children that they have. It may be, and I'm sure that you will also be imagining now, that perhaps they didn't have an emergency fund, or they didn't have fund for maybe extra curriculum activities for the children, or they didn't have extra fund kept somewhere to change their tires, or for the mechanic if the car broke down and all that, which are the kind of things that John was dipping hand into that course to solve. So it's important that you create an emergency fund as you are saving, and separate them, and then have an understanding of where this can come out from and where the other one can come out from. Okay. And there are some apps that can help you to put all of these savings, create different pots for different things so that they are separate, and you can then you can log into one account and see all of them, but you know where to draw what fund for what thing.
To avoid this, there's need for John to make more money, right?
Yes.
So,
but not necessarily in their own case.
Why will leave me alone now? Let me ask my question.
Okay.
What is the problem? Let me ask question. John should make more money.
Yes.
From the one he's making already, so that there'll be extra room for money, so that running over, shaking together, press down. Now, my question is, if this man should go around be making more money, this John, will he have time to look after the things he's looking after in the house? Say, for example, he went out, buy those things, things they need in the house. Have you considered maybe for some health reasons he couldn't make more money? That's all he could make. Or for reason due to his qualification, he couldn't make any other money apart from that they had. From what they are making is what they are saving. So if he is unable to make more money so that they will still, they will have a spare pot, as you said, what else could he have done if his condition, for any reason, wouldn't have allowed him make more money?
Okay, so all that you have painted could be right. And remember that we are not talking to John and Jane. We are using their story to learn our lessons.
But this same thing can apply to every other person.
And that's what I'm saying. And everybody is different.
Okay.
Everybody's needs and demands are not the same. So the reason I talked about making more money is not that in their case that could have solved the problem. Okay. Because he could have made more, but also use it. Yes. And it will not be found. So it's just for people who need to make more, that we brought that in.
Okay.
It's one of the things that you have to do when you are managing your personal finance in order to plan for the future and invest.
Okay.
So if you're investing, more money helps a lot, because the more you make, the more you invest, the more you save. So if we have our budgets all right, which they did have a budget. They were not operating without a budget, which was a good thing. So some families don't have a budget. They just get money, they use it, which is why it may finish at the middle of the month or even at the beginning without any other fund to last till the next pay.
Have you been in that position before?
Not really, but I know people that have been in that situation. So,
but they're not around here.
Okay, no comments. Okay, they know themselves.
Okay.
But what I am trying to say is that if you have a budget like Jane and John, the next thing will be that you save towards according to your budget. They did save, or have an understanding of how to manage that money. They did. And they had selected someone who, from amongst them, who is going to manage it. And they did all of that too. Coming to that, what I will say is, make sure that you manage your money together. Don't be absent in your financial management. Don't leave it for one spouse to manage. Don't give an excuse that I'm not interested, I don't like dealing with money, it messes my head up, it gives me headache, and all excuses that I have had from couples of why only one person is managing their fund. The person may do a good job, but what if they turn out to be John? What are you going to do? Had Jane been involved in that financial management, she would have noticed on time that funds are going out from their project funds.
How can he be in the same management when they've assigned somebody to do it? How can he be in the same place again when they've assigned the guy to be managing the funds?
And that's what I'm saying, that for some households it can work, but some households it will be a bad idea to assign it to a particular person. What stops her from being part of their finances?
So are you suggesting that even though an assignment, it has been delegated for John to look after the money, maybe from previous course of dealing is good with handling money, that even though it has been assigned to him, you keep this money, when we need it, you bring it, that the wife should also sometimes cast eye into what is happening to see if the money is still there? Will John not think that the woman is suspecting he's using the money? Don't you think so?
Well, if he thinks that, then there is already a problem. If there is no problem, he wouldn't think that. If he begins to think, why are you asking me about the money? Why do you want to see the accounts? Why do you want us to talk about it? Is there? Then there is already a relationship problem going on.
Okay.
And that is the indication, the outcome. So what I will say is, make sure that no matter how good your spouse is with money, you also need to get good, which is why I advise couples. If you're learning about money, make sure your spouse is also learning at the same time. Don't be the guru, the financial guru, while he or she knows nothing about money, because it's going to be overwhelming for you, even if you are managing it well. Imagine if you are in a house and you are not having conversation about money with someone. There is no one to share what's going on, what the exchange rate is, what the interest is now, which banks you are putting your money in, which savings app, which investment you're doing. I mean, what are you talking about then? Tell me, what are the conversations around if that is excluded? So that aside, you want to make sure that what you agreed is what is happening, and that things are the way you guys agreed, because anything can happen. Someone can run into trouble and want to solve it behind the scene. So you want to make sure that you talk about it, that you review it. We do tell people to have regular financial meetings and shake-ups and financial dates. So where you will come and talk about the finances of your household, of your family, or as a couple is very healthy and important. So everybody is at the same page.
Okay. I'm going to let me respond to your friend Tanja. Tanja, we understand that you came a bit late. You're always there, so don't worry about that. We know.
Welcome, Tanja. Thank you.
What we're talking about is Tanja is asking whether we're talking about an advocate of joint bank accounts. No, that's not what exactly we're saying today. It was a short story about a couple who agreed on a particular money, map out money to be used to purchase a property. But the gentleman was proven to be reliable with money handling. But as time goes on, the money saved on his hand, he put hand inside the money and used it to buy a few things in the house. When they got the property and now everything is sorted for them to make payment, it was then the wife realized that the money that they have saved up has been tampered. It's not complete again. And that is where we have come. It was a real life story. And we are now drawing meanings into whether there was issue with communications or not trust or things like that. And Gigi's explaining that it is okay that people should have an understanding of financial literacy, knowing what money is. And actually, when the wife knows more about money, the husband should as well make it a point of interest to know a bit more about money so that both of them, two good eyes, they say, is better than one. And she's suggesting that people should have the same, you may not be at the same wavelength, but at least you have an idea what happened. Because if the lady has been casting eye over the funds, see what's happening, probably this could have been rescued. And that is what we're talking about today. But we might link it to joint account later, but that is it today. Just want to introduce what we are discussing. I understand.
We have talked about joint accounts that couples can keep, and the videos are there. If you check in, you might get our own views or my view on whether couples can keep the kind of accounts they can keep and if they can keep joint accounts or not. But we might be able to talk about it, even though in the case of John and Jane, it was a case of Jane not monitoring the account or not having conversations about the account. There are other things that cause that, which are relationship issues, which they didn't know existed. They didn't know that that was an issue, but that was part of why she was not probing, if you want to put it that way. But yes, so we have talked about making more money, budgeting and saving. And also we are now on having regular financial checks with each other and financial dates, meetings, whatever you call it. There are some people that do Financial Friday, which is a time they set aside in the evening to just talk about their finances. Those are held because when I had couple that I prescribed that to, I did also make a video about it, and it is out there too for you to watch and listen to if you care. So
I have a question.
Okay.
In the course of your explanation, you said people should go for financial date nights. Growing up from the time I was to this good man I've become now, I know dating to be where people go out for romantic night out. They have meal and talk about how their love life will be. So now you're saying you are suggesting that there should be a time for financial date night.
Okay.
So if they go to Chinese shop, they start talking about the Chinese shop. Money, money, money. Is that what I don't understand?
Okay, it depends on it. Remember that
can't they do it in the house? Why?
Yeah, that's what I'm about saying. It depends on individuals. What we are saying is that you have to have a time and a date set aside to talk about your finances. Okay. Where and today and time and the modalities you put in place is up to you. Okay. Is what works for you. Okay, you should by then know your spouse, know yourselves to know what works Whether you talk about it in bed or on the sofa or at meal time is up to you. Whether you go out of the house to talk about it in the field is up to you. The important thing is that both of you
have that discussion.
Do know about your finances and what's going on. Okay. Even if there is one of you that know more than the other or have strength in that area to execute things, to carry things out, the other party should make it a duty to know and understand what is happening to the family finance. Okay. That is what I mean. And it works with the ones that are practicing it. So after that, the next thing that you have to do is to start investing. In this case, they did. Everything we are talking about, apart from Jane not being part of talking about the finances and knowing, opening it and seeing what is there, the rest they are doing, they seem to be doing very okay. And that is why she didn't think that they won't get the house. Mm-hmm. That's why she didn't even imagine that the money had been tampered with. Yes, because they were doing everything right. But something had happened. And yes, I've talked about investment because that is the stage you get to and you have started creating wealth. So them buying the house would have meant that they've started building wealth. Yes, depending on what they want to use the property for, whether it's residential or rentals. So it means that they have saved, they are investing now to create wealth and to plan for the future, which is a good thing. Now, I am going to stop today on investment because the subject of investment, I don't want to deal with it here now because it's vast. Maybe another day we will talk about it, how couples and people in relationship, families can invest in order to become financially stable. So let's now go into the story before our time runs out. What do you think happened? So you have had a bit of the story for those that are joining now. What do you think is the problem? We are going to talk about communication problem, but are there other things that could have happened that made this scenario to appear? Because I won't tell you how much it affected this relationship or the outcome of this finding that Jane made, the discovery. But you can imagine that is definitely huge. So, what do you think happened to John?
John, who was good wife should beat him up and possibly take starve him of food and the other thing he likes so much. He likes pussy soup or okra soup. Don't cook it for 1 week so that he pay for all his daily, all his escapades. Yes, okay, sorry about that digression.
Okay.
So what was the question?
What could have happened? And you need to concentrate, please.
I am.
People are listening to you and you are just making, playing around.
So you ask me what would have done to John. If it's me, see, if I keep money and you use it, I know I won't make you swallow. Because I know you like to swallow. What I would do is that week, all the whole soup, I'll take it away from the house, punish you for not swallowing for 2 weeks. Maybe your brain will reset, then you don't swallow. You know how far.
Okay, so when my brain resets, has this solved the problem?
Maybe if you don't swallow for 2-3 weeks.
You save the money for the soup and then add it to the money that I've spent so that we can then go and buy the house.
Of course, because in UK, a bag of Pando is almost the one you eat more £22. So if you save £22 for 2 weeks, 2 weeks is going to be okay. So you don't need to swallow all those food for you. Okay. Right. Okay. So if you ask me what I would do to you is,
I didn't actually ask you what you would do what Jen would do to John. That's not for the conversation today. I'm just asking, what could have happened to John?
Let's ask Taja. Well, how can you invite Taja here? Let's Taja talk to us. Where's Taja?
Because of the device I'm using, I don't know how to do it.
Taja will
I
tell
don't
us.
even know how to. So,
Taja, please tell us, because the question she's asking me, I don't know how to answer it. But what I know is I'll just deprive her of his favorite food, which is swallow, then punish her.
Tell them.
Where is Taja?
Okay, so before Taja responds, because I trust that she will. So before she responds to what could have happened to John, let's be serious now.
Okay, serious.
So I remember we have to save time to talk about communication gap here. So, and if I forget, remind me, we need to talk about, because that's the main.
We are serious.
Because that's the main reason that this happened. But we want to talk about the things that could make someone not manage finances well. And we will go back to where we started, which is not having knowledge of money, not being financially literate and intelligent. The second thing could be the mindset, what they have known about money, where they are coming from family to the people that shaped them, the environment that shaped them, the society that shaped them, the religion that shaped them, the community that shaped them. What did they tell them about money? Because that's also playing a huge role on how people relate with money. And that's why we say, if you find out, you need to make an effort to find out, is it correct? Is it not correct? What you know or had been told. If it's not, you begin to change it. And that's a mindset shift. Another thing could be trauma, money traumas. Some people coming from families and places where they have been traumatized about money and they carry it about. And on that note, we do say, before you get married, make sure that you check the traumas in your life and deal with them. Because if you don't, they will turn around and affect your relationship badly. And over time, if not dealt with, if you don't get therapy, get counseling in the way that you know, different people will find different routes to it. So some people will go professional, some people will go to their pastors, to their religious leaders, some people will consult some mentors and family, things like that. But make sure that you deal with it. It's best to make sure that you deal with it with a professional who knows what they are doing. But however you go about it, get it sorted, because if you sweep it under the carpet, it might, or it will affect your relationship, because it doesn't help. The second thing that could happen is people becoming maybe dependent on something. If somebody suddenly, for one stress or problem or the other, believe that the way to resolve it is to depend on a substance or something, that could affect how they deal with money. So abuse, traumas, substance dependency, all those things can affect how people deal with money. So you need to watch out about these things in your spouse and in your own life, and make sure they are sorted before they become a problem. So there are other things that could have caused John to think that the best place to take money to buy these household things are from the money set aside for their property. So we'll go to, we'll take this and then we'll go to communication gap that existed that caused all of these problems.
Right. So Taja said, like I said, some people get confident and cocky with big amounts of money, not thinking about the goal at the end. One of the reasons she can think of is people getting overconfident and cocky. And her answer is based on the fact that it was said that this guy is being believed to be a better manager of money between two of them. I totally agree with what you said, because you see, money, when people handles money, they get so much cocky and confident, and it can even be overconfident. So when they see a huge amount of money, they believe it's all right, it's not a problem. and using it wouldn't be a problem for them because they have this cockiness and overconfidence that it's meant to be used. I'm going to just use it. And probably, again, because it has been said about them, very good with managing money. And they will be, if I'm not good with managing money, why would you trust that on me? So I'm confident I can do it well. But sometimes, like the reasons which you have just said, which could be things like could be mental health, reliance on substance misuse, and every other thing, could impair their proper reasoning at the moment, that they could not remember that that thing that they are known for to be good, that something has affected it. And it is the duty of whosoever that is living with them to understand when that their CV, their high esteem CV is coming down, because this thing could affect their CV. And to them, they may not know it. Like it was said of David in the Bible, he said, I can always go out again, thinking he's going to win. And when he go out this time, didn't know that the thing has gone out of him. And when he go, he fell because I had this confidence that he's going to win. So I believe what
That was Samson.
Samson. Oh, is it? Okay. What's the difference between Samson and David?
Okay.
Samson,
Stop.
Samson. David is David. It is the same letter word, and both of them are men. They are warriors. Therefore, they win.
We are running out of time.
Okay.
Can we just, because we have two more things to talk about. This is not a joke, please.
Okay.
Yes, it's going to help a lot of couple out there and a lot of families to make sure that they don't enter into this trap, because you know the consequences. So let's make sure we help someone today. Please keep your jokes in your pockets.
Let's go back to the communication one.
So what we want to talk about now is the fact that communication gap and keeping a secret are dangerous to relationships. If you had decided that you're going to become coupled, now you know you are no longer single. You can't run your life and affairs as a single man or woman. If you're married, you are no longer single. You can't make decisions alone anymore, no matter the intention. Because I know some people will be thinking that John had good intentions. He was trying to keep the family comfortable. He was trying to solve the needs of the family. Yes, that's very good and very thoughtful of him. But his approach was wrong, especially the manner in which it was conducted. Because John knew the money was depleting, but he concealed it from his wife. Let's remember that this could be the woman on the other way around. It could have been the woman managing this money, or maybe was not given the assignment of managing it. John could be managing it, and Jane will go and draw money from there. So because they both have access to it, it's just that Jane trusted John that nothing will happen to the money, so she wasn't checking. So now we are talking about the issue of keeping secret, which is going to affect trust, and communication, which was purely lacking between the couples. None of them was communicating. So it's no longer John's problem alone. Jane was not also talking. And if at all she was talking, it wasn't effective. It was not effective communication, which we have talked about before, that you may be talking, but not really talking. So now we are going to look at communication gap. It's important that as people in relationship of any kind, especially that of intimate relationship, that you master communication. So if you are not there yet, it's not a problem. But today, you know, is important. You start getting into communication mastery. There is nothing you will do outside of yourself that you will not need this skill, communication mastery. If you don't communicate it, then a lot of things could go wrong. Had John told Jane that I've run out of money, or I want to go and buy this and that from that fund, they could have remedied the situation, because it could be that Jen will say no, or she will agree. And if she did agree, do you think it will be a problem when it was not enough? I don't think so. Do you think it's going to break their home? I don't think so. So both of them were not good with communication. Jane wasn't asking, John was not telling. Another thing that happened was, on John's side, is that he was keeping secret from his wife. See, secrecy breeds a lot of big problems in relationship. If you are keeping it secret for any reason whatsoever, even if you think that doesn't matter, you are killing yourself. It's important that you become transparent and make sure that your spouse, your partner, is aware of every step you take, of every conversation you have, not just about money, about everything. That if you happen to maybe have an accident and can't talk, that they can talk for you, that every gesture you make, they know what it means, that everything you could have said, that they could say it on your behalf, because it will look as if they can read your mind. That's how far people who communicate can know themselves. There is no other way to know someone but to learn them. How then do you learn someone that you don't talk with? Have you heard people say that it look as if I have known him or I've known her forever or for years, and they may not have seen each other eye to eye for the first time? That's the power of communication. So if you talk with someone always, it will be as if you are the closest people to them, they are the closest people to you. That's how couples build bond. That's how they create the atmosphere that makes it become a bliss for them. And all couples need that, because everybody gets into relationship to succeed and to enjoy it. This is one of the recipes. So make sure you talk about everything. If you are having challenges talking about money, it is a sign that there is something you need to deal with. It may be a trauma. It may be something that you are not, it is in there, but you can't place your fingers on it. But definitely something is wrong. That is why you can't talk about money.
My final thought will be, as you conclude, because you're almost done. My final thought would be, I'm just assuming most men, we have this ego. We have this ego. Probably, although this is the money for the family, probably John thinks, well, it's our money. I am still the head of the house. I will make the decision. So what's the need asking her about what are we going to do? Can I get this in from you? It is still our money. I will make the decision. Maybe he thinks that way, and that was why he did not communicate, which is really, really bad. And for some men who have that thought, believing that, now I'm the man, I have the final say, there's no need discussing it. But when I finish, I'll come back to that. It does not work. This man has been very guilty sometimes, many times, and
even this week. No, so, lack of communication is terrible. Let me tell you what he did recently. So should I?
No, carry on. Go on. Okay. So, I will repent.
All right. You already know about it. Yeah. So I expressed that there is a particular plate that I don't like to use. I always avoid that particular dish. And it's just one. And I don't like the color. Two, I just don't like it. From the day that he entered this house, I don't like to use it or eat with it, even if every other plate is occupied. I just don't like it. So I said, I don't want that plate. I want to throw it away. Oh no, I didn't say I want to throw it away. I just said, I just don't feel okay using that plate, and I don't want to see it again in the house. I just don't want it. And then that was all the conversation. And I haven't said throw it away. And he didn't say he will throw it away. He didn't say he would do something about my concern, because it has not become a complaint yet. It was a concern. And it has been for some time. It's not killing me. It's not doing anything. But suddenly I went to the cupboard and can't find the plates. I mean, not that one alone, but many other plates. And I was wondering what happened. I looked everywhere. I can't find the plates. So I called him. Where are the plates? So I'm looking for particular ones. I can't find them. So he came home and said he has thrown them away. And I was like, what are they away? He said them that I said I don't like them. So he has put them in the bin. And I'm like, if you had told me that you would throw this one away, I would have told you that, no, this one is okay, this one is okay, this one is okay. It's just this one that I don't like. And you wouldn't have, the whole of the plates wouldn't have entered into the bin. And that's what communication can cause.
Okay.
If he had communicated, he wants to help me. He wants to help my emotions. He wants to help me and my sentiments, but he didn't communicate that. And that could have, caused, it could have been handled a different way. You are trying to help me, but you are not communicating it. What stops you from saying, okay, I want to throw them away now?
Guilty as charged, but I have an exception. Why are you looking for plates you say you don't want to see again?
No, I said, I still don't want that one. Did I want it? I don't want it. Yeah, but it's only one plate. It's just one. The rest of the ones you threw away, I still want them. But you didn't tell me that from what I said, that you understood that the other one is all the set that came the same time. It wasn't all of them that I wanted out. Okay, so if we didn't have new sets or other ones, would you have thrown them and we'll be eating on the floor?
No, I'm not going to buy her any plate. Don't worry, I'm not going to buy any new plate. So I understand the communication issue, but what I'm trying to say is how a plate you say, I don't like seeing this plate. And being a gentleman, nice man I am, to make sure she's happy. I want her to be okay. She says she doesn't like seeing this plate. And I grab plate, and I assume she also wouldn't want to see this one. And this one, she wouldn't want to see it too. So since she don't want to see this plate, there was plate, but I threw away plates. Yeah. About 4.
That's what communication gap does.
Threw them away because I want to make sure that when she goes to her kitchen, she see the plate she likes. So I threw them away. But now it happens to be that the plate I threw away, I threw among the ones she still fancies.
Yeah, the ones I actually look for first when I want to use plates were part of the ones that he put in the bin. And that didn't go too well with me, because although I didn't boil or, it didn't cause anything, but it could have been something that could cause, some emotions rising up, you understand? So he had learned to make sure that he communicates it before taking the actions. Yes. He's learning. He's not there yet. But he's coming up. And that is okay. So that's what communication could do. In the scenario that we are using as example, John, if he had told Jane, after all, he was not being callous with spending, or he wasn't spending money recklessly. He was buying things for the house. It's just that Jane didn't know that the funds he was using for the normal things they use and they really need are from the set aside money for something very important to Jane, and also to John. And that's what communication gap should be. And sometimes we think communication, okay, we keep hearing it, but it's actually a skill. Just like you go and learn other skills, you can learn, amongst other things, master communication and be able to use it, because it's an important tool in relationships, and that's relationship of all kinds. So remember that we also talked about not keeping secrets. John kept it in, even at the point that they had viewed the properties and picked the one they want. And also, they had gone for payments. They have gone to their lawyers. What form of betrayal can that be? It is really huge. And learn today from the story not to fall victim of that, because you might be building and at the same time scattering what you are building if you toe that line. So, on that note, your final thoughts. I know you said you have given your final thoughts, but we are concluding now.
Yeah, it's okay. I will. It will be good to communicate with people. And my final thoughts that I'm not going to buy her a new set of plates. She has too many. This house plate comes here from Temu, Amazon every day. So she has been treated with new set of plates. Yeah. So my final thought is, if you think you're not sure about something, ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. And Matthew 7:7 say, ask, shall be given.
Yeah. So before I say my final thought, I want to just go through a few of the thank you, Taja. So yeah, after no, don't worry. I have some I have plates. It's important that talking doesn't really mean communication as well. Yeah. So but that's what that's what people know it to be, and we tend to use the term communication. So it's not like you're on radio and okay, Roger, and this, or A41 is closed, diversion. Is not like that. It's just that act of talking, understanding, decoding, and encoding. That's what's talking about everything. No matter, don't think this is important, this is not important. Everything is important in a relationship. When you are single, it may not matter. Now you are coupled, it's too important that you communicate everything. So thank you very much. Let me see if there is more. And thank you so much, Taja. I know. Yeah. So thank you everyone that joined. If you're going to be watching the replay, thank you so much. And please do let us know where you are watching from and your name. It's really important. We'd like to connect with our viewers and our followers. So it will really help us. Please do let us know your name and where you are connecting from. And thank you for watching. Thank you again, Taja. As always, thank you for your comments, for your contributions, and for your company. We do appreciate and enjoy it. As you know, we love you. Love you. Thank you so much. And we are going to stop today because of time. And maybe next Sunday, we are going to talk more about this kind of situations in relationships and learn more about how we can handle our finances in a relationship so that we can enjoy the relationships that we have created and built, because it's supposed to be enjoyed and it is supposed to fulfill purposes in our lives. So thank you, everyone, and have a very wonderful night. Enjoy your night. Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.